recognize our ills, our failures, our defeats, our unrealized dreams, all those things that we wish we could accomplish. And we just acquiesce to, oh, well, I suppose this is just the way life is supposed to be. And I think that sometimes we have the motivational speakers and those folks out there with maybe a business plan that will help you be successful. I believe many of them started off with good intentions. And many of them have been my heroes throughout my life. You know, I would buy the tapes, I would buy the CDs, I would buy the DVDs of these motivational speakers and all, from business perspective, from empowering one's self-perception, from realizing the spirituality that we are, you know, that we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. You know, all of those guys out there, and even the preachers and the spiritual leaders as well. But I think that they have come over the years to the point to recognize that most people are just not going to get it. And so what I see with the very similarity between that mindset and these gurus and the business gurus, the spiritual gurus, and the real estate gurus, and all these folks out there that are acting like they're trying to give us a hand, I don't believe they are believing that anymore like they used to. I believe that they have a good business model. And I don't think they really believe that most people are going to grasp what they're giving, but at least if their book is bought, or if their program is bought, or if their DVDs or something is purchased from them, they're gonna make a whole lot of money. There's this one guy, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he is a guy that has been out there promoting business plans and strategies to us for like since the 80s, you know. And I bought many of his books. And just recently I saw he had a book where he was attaching himself to this previous president that we had, you know. Now this isn't a political program. But it's obvious to anyone, no matter what your politics are, that this particular ex-president is in some trouble, you know. He may get out of it, he may not, but at the moment he's in some deep water. And so I was asking myself, well, why is this guy that we all know and love as a businessman, as a teacher, as a mentor, has attached himself to this guy? Because he realizes this guy still has a tremendous base, and he's calculated that if his base, since he's affiliated himself with this man, buys all of them by his book, he's going to make multi-million dollars just by posing with this gentleman on the cover of his recent book. And so I see this even with the motivational speakers. I was listening to one the other day, and I couldn't even finish listening because it was like the certain number of ways to success or something or else other like that. And it was giving some very, you know, very catchy spiritual phrases and particular facts that were not really facts of our existence and our spiritual existence and all. And I know that in time past I embraced these things. I love listening to these guys, but now I've just come to realize that folks are not really being helped, but they're being stroked by the particular topics that they've always enjoyed gravitating toward. And so they hear something like, you know, you're not really a physical being having a spiritual experience, but you're a spiritual being having a physical experience. I mean, we get that, and yeah, and we're going to write that down, and we're probably going to buy that book too. But you know what? We've been buying these books for 20 and 30 years, and we're still in the same boat. I know I have a rental property, and I get these calls from these people, you know, every week trying to buy my property. And I know what has happened. You had a guy come to town who was a real estate expert, you know, and flipping houses and all that. And he advertised probably 3 or 4 months before he got here to sign up for his course, and he'll be part of his team to teach you how to flip houses and make money and all that stuff. And who doesn't want to do that, especially if you're broke? It seems easy enough. But the reality is, I think as we all know, there's that real estate, that land is scarce on planet Earth. There isn't anymore. You know, that's the scarcity. That's why the prices are going up. Because you can't get any more. Because there's no more land. And so this guy realized that. That he's really he probably made some money in real estate, but he's probably not making that much now, not like he used to. So now he's going to teach a class, maybe $500 or $1,000 a head. So he comes to a town, and now he's got cities in every state of the U.S. That's a whole lot of cities. Come to town, come be a part of my real estate team, knowing good and well there's a scarcity in real estate. So he's going to come to your little town, teach everybody how to, invest, purchase the program, come to class, and I'm going to teach you how, call up the county, find them on the internet, find out how many rental properties out there, and then begin calling the owners and see if they want to make a deal. But guess what? Everybody in the same town, there's probably as many people who are in that class, as many people that have rental properties in that town, and they're all calling the same people. So they're not going to make any money. Because I know I get the calls, I'm like, look, you want to do the same thing I'm doing. Why would I sell you my property? No. So the people are not really getting wealthy, but who's getting wealthy is the gentleman who put on that show. Because he got paid, all right? And what I'm saying, I'm thinking is that's the issue. Now, so I've come with this, with some particular insight that I believe is a reality, that where the light bulb can go off and there can be a wellness, And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Because we are going to talk about discipline. Because discipline is a very important word in appropriating the things that we really need to appropriate in life. And what I'm suggesting is it's not about going and tricking somebody out of something they have. Or it's not about a clever catchphrase. It's about changing our mindset, okay? Changing the way we think about a thing. And as we have been discussing in the past few episodes, is that we don't hardly make conscious decisions. That our subconscious, having responded to all our environmental encounters in life, has come up with certain perspectives that are transferred to our conscious thoughts. And we're making decisions based on the observations and experiences of our subconscious. Our subconscious, has no personality. It's just taking the data, interpreting the data, and that's what's motivating our particular actions. And that's why so many of us have found defeat in so many areas of our lives. Because up here, we want to do something. But from a subconscious perspective, we've already determined that we can't, okay? And that's very difficult. So we're going to talk about discipline today. And discipline is a very important word. Because there are very few people, if any, folks that are actually disciplined, okay, for any length of time. Let me tell you why. Now see, we can be fooled by looking at the guy in the gym, that's really buff and built up and everything, and say, man, that guy must be disciplined because he looks like he works out a lot, and he probably does. But see, the thing is, if you're doing something that you enjoy doing, it's not discipline. Okay? Discipline is something that you have a difficult time doing, but you have self-motivated yourself to continue doing what you don't feel like doing. That's discipline, okay? And so we have a bad habit as human beings, I suppose, as pointing our finger at the ills of other folks. Why is he doing that? Or why isn't she doing this? Or they could be doing a better job. They could be doing, all this stuff. But what we are often doing is simply comparing someone's failure to something that I'm successful in, okay? Something that doesn't have to be a discipline for me because it's something that I like to do or something that comes natural. And we're comparing it to somebody who they don't enjoy doing something or it doesn't come natural to them. But I guarantee you that individual has positives in their lives where we are lacking, okay? I was just talking to this guy recently, and he was really ragging on this gentleman because he wasn't paying enough attention to his son, okay? Now, his son is from a different relationship when he's younger. His son is coming up and having sports events, and the father doesn't attend those events. The father has like 4 kids and a family of his own. And it's, for some people, that's very difficult, especially for men to multitask like that. And then this guy was really ragging on him because no man, should neglect his son like that. But I know for a fact this guy cheated on his wife, okay? So I'm like, and the guy that's may be neglecting his son, and he's got a family, he isn't cheating on his wife. So it's a point that I'm making is we all have areas in our lives that we have are not really disciplined in, or we're not really, I don't want to use the word again, disciplined, but not really successful in. And we have areas of our lives that we are successful in. So it's kind of foolish for us to begin comparing ourselves to each other, because we all have ups and we all have downs. We all have positives and we all have negatives in our personality and our character traits, okay? So we want then to not to worry about other folks, okay? It's almost like counterproductive. Why in the world would any of us be focusing on the ills of someone else when we know good and well, when we look in the mirror, we have particular deficiencies in our lives and things that we haven't accomplished, okay? To me, I'm a man of mercy, I'm a man of grace, because I realize, where I've been in life, how jacked up I have been at times in life, and I believe that is part of the positiveness in helping me to be better, is the way I embrace everyone else. I give them grace, I give them mercy, I applaud their successes, and I don't chide them for their failures, okay? And so we're in a position today, in this program today, we're going to talk about discipline. And again, discipline is not about something that you enjoy doing. It's not about something that comes natural to you, because that's not discipline, okay? So we do have to recognize the things that we want to accomplish in our lives. And that's what I want to revive today in you, in everyone, is get that hope back, okay? We've been disappointed so often, by those gurus, by those teachers, or not really by them, because I'm sure the material that they've presented, is satisfactory to do what they were able to do. But the problem is how difficult it is for us to grasp that. And I don't believe it's really that difficult if we know what it is we're trying to do, and that's what we're here today to talk about. So we want to become disciplined, and we want to be able to appropriate the things in our lives that have been seen to be fleeting us. And today we're going to figure out how. So we might have to be disciplined. Figure out something that you want, and just begin to do what it takes to get there. That's it. That's not it. It's going to be very difficult at first, but what I want to assure you is that as you keep doing something over and over again, that you really don't feel like doing, that you really don't like doing, eventually it will become habit. And that thing that was once disciplined will eventually become fun. That's where we need to get. So as simplistic as it may sound, the key is simply to figure out a game plan, what it would take to accomplish that thing, and walk it out, and repeat, 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 repeat. And it'll happen. Just like that. Let me give you, and you might not be repeating very strongly, okay? You might have to build up to get to a certain place, but it'll work. Like for me, I work out. I don't do like weights, things like that, but I do cardios, and I do push-ups. Push-ups I've added for about the past year or so. But let me tell you how the push-ups started, exactly what I'm talking about. I decided I had been doing cardio for about the past 16 or so years, so I'm feeling pretty good, health for a 65-year-old man this year in 2023. But I wanted to start trying to build my arms. I never really worked on that, So how else? Push-ups. Now, just to give you an idea about where I'm coming from, I don't like to spend money on gym memberships, trainers, and all that kind of stuff. All of my exercise, all of my health stuff happens at home, okay? So that's where I came up with the push-ups. I just need to start doing push-ups. So I decided to see how many push-ups I can do. I decided to knock off 30 push-ups. And I did. I put 30 push-ups. But I guarantee you, by the time I got past like 15, they started looking kind of sloppy, okay? So I said, okay. And then by the time I got done, I'm like, I can't do this every day. So what I decided to do was I decided to just do 10 push-ups, okay? 10 push-ups that looked right, okay? And just did 10 push-ups for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, I'd add 5 push-ups. For the next 2 weeks, I would do 15 push-ups. Next, 5 more. The next 2 weeks, I'd do 20 push-ups, and so on. And I brought myself all the way up to like 50 push-ups. I went up to about 60 push-ups, and then my side started hurting, so I dropped it down to 50, and then I became a 50 push-up man, okay? So it was possible. So then what happened? I'm up to 80 push-ups every morning now. So what happened, St. Jude Hospital came out with this challenge back in May, a few months back, that they wanted people to do 1,000 push-ups a month for the month of May. And that would just be adding on a few more daily to my the push-ups I was already doing, so I figured I could do that. And there was this one week I kind of got behind. I didn't work out. I didn't work out for a few days. And it's like, man, I am about 150 push-ups behind. Because I'm still working for the month of May, so I'm still okay if I could just make it up. So I got down in the morning. I decided I was going to kick off like as many as I could do, you know. So I started doing push-ups, push-ups, push-ups. I got to 100 push-ups. I amazed myself. 100 push-ups, wow. So after that, I decided, you know, I'm not going to be doing 100 push-ups every day. But I don't have to just do 50 either. So I dropped it down to 80. And I've been an 80 push-up man for about the past 5 months or so. So I do 80 push-ups every morning, in addition to some other workouts. And I'm 65 years old. But I worked up to it. But I determined to do it every day. So it was difficult for me to do. So I started real light. But then I just kept adding to it. I knew that if I'd done it for 2 weeks, then I'd be fine with it. Just add 5 more. Then I'd be fine, add 5 more. Simple as that. Now I'm an 80 push-up a day person. And if you'd asked me this 2 years ago, I wasn't doing any push-ups. Okay, I had done push-ups, serious push-ups, probably practiced martial art the last time I was in my mid-30s, maybe 30 years ago. So that's the example. You know, you might not want to do it. Don't do it so hard, but still do it every day, increase, and eventually you'll like them. Now I like them. I like them. You know, the only problem I have with the push-ups that I do in the morning when I'm doing my 80 push-ups, it's tedious because I'm counting them off and it's like, oh man. So it's not difficult doing the push-ups. The difficulty is staying motivated when I'm at 50 and when I'm at 60, when I'm at 70. That last 10 is very, very simple, okay? That's the key right there. So what we have here, what I've demonstrated, is something very interesting. It's going from discipline to discipline. And you might say, what does that mean, discipline to discipline? See, discipline has different meanings. Discipline means you're going to be disciplined. You're going to do what you don't feel like doing. But what I'm suggesting is, as you just keep doing what you don't feel like doing, eventually you get to a point where it's easy. Now, I have a discipline. Push-ups are my discipline, okay? And I think I learned this, again, back in the old days when I was a young person. I started the martial art, I guess, when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And so what's the key? For any of you that have practiced any type of martial art, what's the key to martial art practice? It's just repetition. You go to class and, man, as a young person, you want to be learning some stuff. I mean, it was the Bruce Lee era, so we were all kind of motivated back in the 70s. And so you get in class and you'd want to fight. Everybody, that's what you want to do. You want to get in there and fight, you know. That was the thing. But the karate instructors would have you doing the martial art workout for the first hour, and by the time you got around to fighting, I mean, you were exhausted already. So the workout was just, what is it? It's just punch, 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 punch. Whatever kind of punches, whatever kind of kicks, whatever you're doing, it's just repeating over and over and over and over again, every day, every day, every day. Repeating those kicks, repeating those punches, every day, repetition, until you begin to progress. Then you get your first belt, then you get your second belt, third belt, on and on and on. And so all you're really doing is perfecting that move because you're repeating it over and over and over again. Just saying, that's a good lesson for life. Just whatever it is, repeat and repeat. And that which required discipline will eventually become your discipline. Okay? So what that's doing is actually creating a subconscious reality based on the environment that you've been practicing every day. Is an environment that you've created. So your subconscious is ready. Not emotionally, getting upset. No. What's going to happen when you're in that position? And that's what happens. So it's the subconscious, and that's what we're going for. We're trying to, sometimes we're going to have to adjust the environment that our subconscious has already responded to a more focused environment, what we want our subconscious to respond to transfer that information to our consciousness, you know. Very important, okay? Now you can, here we go, maybe I should even, I believe you can bypass the subconscious, okay, if you really get it, okay? Now, for example, I'll be sitting in a lecture sometimes. Maybe I'm sitting before some kind of guru, or maybe I'm in a church, or maybe I'm in a business environment listening to a lecture, or in whatever the subject is. And the moment I hear something that resonates with me, I appropriate it right then. This is who I am now. See, now I think when I was in high school, in junior high school, I had very poor study habits, okay? I mean, I really didn't take notes like I should, okay? And that is sort of and that was not a very good idea back in school when I was a young person. But I believe that's a benefit now in life when I'm going to these lectures, or if I'm going to a lecture where it's a class where I have to take a test on, yeah, I'm going to take some notes. But if I'm going to a self-improvement lecture, or even a business improvement lecture, whatever it is, some type of improvement lecture, the moment I hear something that challenges what I already believe but makes perfect sense to me, that is now a part of me. I don't have to take notes. It always troubles me when I see folks taking so many notes throughout some kind of speech or lecture or even in a church service, because to me, it's very difficult to get something like that. It's very difficult to get it, to appropriate it, if you're just taking notes, okay? Because it has to come to your subconscious. So your notes are just up here. You're just writing them down, thinking about them, that's it. Then you go back and read and think about them again. Now you can take a test, short-term memory. You can take a test and pass it and do well. I know when I was in school, especially as I was studying for my associate degree, and I remember specifically like in history and biology, man, I could memorize 2 or 3 paragraphs. And so if I'm answering a question on a test, I could just verbatim write word for word what was in that textbook for the answer to that question. But as far as a week later remembering the answer, there's no way, okay? So that's the issue with taking notes. In order to really get it, in order to really get it, and there has to be a repetition. And so you take a book, okay, for example. Like for me, I'm a student of The Art of War, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I'm also a student of Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching, okay? These books, I've read probably the Art of War, read or audio listened to The Art of War over 100 times. And the Tao Te Ching probably 80 times or so, and continuing. Just last week, the Tao Te Ching and the Art of War, Sun Tzu's Art of War. And the point I'm making is just reading a book isn't going to do it. It's when it becomes a part of you. So it's the continuous reading over and over and over again. It's the repetition. So like the martial art was a repetition in moves, a book, if you really want to grasp the essence of that book, it's the repetition of ingesting that. And so it's always been, even the lament of many warriors, that expressing that you really can't get the skill of a warrior from reading a book. That is true. But you can get the skill of the warrior by continually ingesting it over and over and over again. That's why I wouldn't, even in music. I used to be a musician, in junior high school, elementary, junior high school, and high school. I played the saxophone, tenor, baritone, alto clarinet, all that. And what I learned when I practiced, over and over and over again to get good. My daughter plays the saxophone and the piano. She's played the piano since before kindergarten, played the saxophone since about the 5th grade. And she's way better than I ever was on that saxophone. Shh, don't tell her. And the piano, she's phenomenal. But a problem that she has, and I've really tried to share with her, this understanding, is that when she's trying to get a part, even if it's on the piano or the saxophone, she's working on it. If she messes up, she stops and goes back and tries to get it. Messes up, stops, goes back, tries to get it. I tell her, don't do that. If you mess up, just keep on playing. Just play all the way through. After you're already through, start over again. Play it all the way through. If you kind of mess up again, don't stop. You know what you did, keep going, play all the way through. So you're still getting the practice of the entire piece, rather than if you keep stopping here, the rest of the piece is suffering. You're going to perfect the whole thing. Eventually you're going to get that piece that you're messing up, and by the time you get that, the entire piece is going to be perfected, okay? So in a sense then, it's that same type of repetition. okay? When you're reading a book, you just keep reading. And then read it again, read it again. Each time you read it, you're going to see things you didn't see the previous time. You're going to get things you didn't get the previous time. You're going to have understanding and insight that you didn't even have the other times that you were reading it. You just keep reading it over and over, and eventually it'll simply become a part of you. My entire life and my reaction and responses in life has to do with the art of war. How I respond to things. How I respond to people. And sometimes when I think about what I just did, I think about it, you know what that is? That is the art of war, okay? For an example, I remember, you know, there are times that I'll be maybe conflicting with someone, and rather than just deal with them head on. Let me give you an example. We're going all over the place with this. I have this shirt that I wear. I think I mentioned it in one of the other programs. It's a t-shirt that I bought because I needed a t-shirt quick. I just went in a store and bought it for something I was going to. And it says Dayton on there, the city. It also has this little blue flag on here. And it's that blue flag that you know is really, a lot of police officers are wearing them and a lot of people are wearing them. It's a certain cultural symbol that a lot of folks are wearing in this nation. But black people aren't wearing that. Because a lot of what's called white supremacists and people from that side, you know, have embraced that flag, wearing it on their hats, wearing it on their jackets, their shirt, their sleeves. Many of the police officers are wearing them. So black people aren't really too thrilled with that blue flag, okay? You know, me being a veteran, you know, I'm too thrilled about defacing the flag. Anyway, but that's a whole other story. But I had to buy this shirt that had this blue flag on there. And it was satisfactory for the thing I had to attend. But when I got home, my daughter saw it, and she was kind of irritated with me for wearing it because of what it represented to her in her mind. And when I shared with her, I said, look, I was thinking quick on my feet, but it's something that in your mind does not belong to black people. Appropriate it, and then it will. I look at the presidency of the United States. Before Barack Obama, the presidency of the United States didn't belong to any black people. Barack Obama was elected twice. He took what was previously not for black people and made it for black people. So no longer is the presidency of the United States not for black people. The N-word, okay, the N-word, we didn't make that word up. That was used against us and disparagingly. And so what have we done now? So what's going on now with that? White people are upset because they want to use it, but they can't. And we use it all the time, casually with each other. So the strategy is to take what they're using against you and appropriate it for yourself. The N-word, the presidency, that blue flag, anything else. And then right there is Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu said the best type of warfare is attacking the weapon, is disarming your opponent of the weapon. Then a least good type of warfare is actually having to fight your opponent. And the worst kind is attacking cities of unarmed people. Okay? So the best type of strategy is to disarm your opponent. And I said, like I spend my life doing that. Why? Because I have ingested the art of war. I've ingested it over and over and over again until it just comes natural to me. And then in retrospect, when I look back at a situation, I'll say, oh, I see where that came from. It's the same thing with religious folks and their holy books. You don't read a holy book to determine how it is you're supposed to say. Christianity, for example. You don't take the holy book and read it and say, oh, I'm supposed to be loving my neighbor, okay? Because it's not going to work. You're not going to love your neighbor just because you just read you're supposed to, okay? Or whatever it is you're told to do, all the different things, you know, in the Bible that a good Christian is supposed to do. But if you keep reading it over and over and over and over again, those things will become natural to you because you've ingested into your subconscious, you've affected the environment, and that will simply be the natural thing to do. You'll be loving your neighbor, okay? You'll be helping the poor. You'll be finding yourself doing all these good things, not because you consciously recognize you need to do it because you read it somewhere, but because you've read it over and over and over again, and it's the thing that simply comes natural to you. Okay? Repeat. Get a game plan, whatever it is. If it's exercise, if it's working out, if it's a new diet, or whatever, get the game plan, or if it's reading a book, and just repeat, repeat, repeat as you're walking it out. And what's interesting is that as you repeat and repeat, 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 this will become your discipline. Whatever it is. Reading this book will become your discipline. It's my discipline. I mean, you can't read a book 100 times and it not be your discipline. The art of war is my discipline. Okay? That is the key. And so what happens when you gain a discipline? Get another one. Don't stop. Don't stop. I shared this story, but I want to in one of the previous programs. But I shared part A. Now there's the B side of the story. I shared a story where a gentleman came up to me once years ago and said, "Hey Jarvis, give me a word." And I was in a hurry. I was rushing. I tried to kind of blew him off. I said, "Hey, just pray every day." And he said, "No, Jarvis, I need a real word." And I realized at that point, this gentleman was going through something. He needed some encouragement. And I felt kind of guilty. And so I thought a moment. I said, "Look, man, do this. Every day, do something good for yourself. Every day, do something good for yourself. Like today, look at your toenails. Cut your toenails. Tomorrow, cut your fingernails. Each day, determine to do something for yourself. And don't fail every day. And eventually it's going to be difficult to think about those things, to figure out something. Now, what can I do for myself? It may be fixing your hair. It may be getting a new shirt. It may be tucking your shirt in better and getting that gig line with the belt and the shirt. Whatever it is, it may be reading a book. It may be maybe taking a course at the local community college. And eventually they're going to be larger things as you're beginning to take care of yourself. And it's not going to really seem like you made that jump because you gradually progressed. Eventually you'll have a job. And you get a better job. Maybe keep going to school. Get another degree. Get an education, higher education. Get a better job. But even get to the point, there comes a point, like I earned an MBA, and I'm not taking any more classes for credit, but that doesn't mean I stopped learning. Oh no, man. I became a certified scuba diver when I was 63. I began learning the Spanish language from scratch when we had our exchange student here. I can ask for a cup of coffee in Spanish, Quiero café por favor. I can ask for a coffee in Arabic. Ahaba ashrab shwayt ahawa min fadlik. Why? Because you don't stop. Okay, you keep expanding, keep challenging yourself. No matter what, never stop. Man, I study all the time. I study quantum physics. I study things in history. I study more philosophy. I study all this stuff, not formally for a degree, but I study these things simply to expand myself. You need to do that. You need to have a purpose. Not to digress, but like quitting, stopping, retiring. People are asking me, I've been on my job now almost 30 years, and I'll be 65 this year, 2023. When am I going to retire? I don't see it in the cards, Because I'm challenging myself. Even at work, I'm challenging myself physically, not terribly. I'm challenging myself to go to bed early enough. I'm challenging myself to get up early enough. I'm challenging myself to eat right from the time I'm at work to the time I get off. I'm continually challenging myself. Why would I stop? I add to. I don't diminish. Now, if I had something else coming on, like another function that I just couldn't do both, but yeah, I would not stop what I'm doing just for the sake of stopping, Well, I've worked long enough, I'm not going to work. No, continue to challenge yourself, continue to expand yourself, continue to create disciplines. My job now is my discipline. Now, my eating properly is my discipline that was built upon the discipline of my job, okay? My exercises in the morning is my discipline before I go to work, which is my discipline. So it's attached to that discipline as well. Add to your disciplines. Man, so what I do in the mornings, so when I'm getting my foods ready for the day, and it takes about a half an hour or so, I have my Spanish lessons, lesson 24 right now, playing. I do each lesson weekly, sometimes bi-weekly if I need it. So I fit the things that I need to create my discipline. So I'm disciplined about creating the discipline, and I find ways to fit it into what I'm already doing, and that's what's going to help when I'm at work. I have particular times where I can audio book study, when I'm away from the people and all. And that's excellent, that's great. So you can be creative. Everybody can't do what I do. This is just what I do, because it works for me. But don't satisfy for less. Every human being has to have a purpose. You cannot survive without a purpose. That's why I get back to the retirement. I can't see why healthy people are retiring. I mean, if you look back historically, folks didn't do that. Why did they retire? They retired because they couldn't do the job anymore. That's the reason. No, I want to retire so I don't have to work. What the heck does that mean? Well, why is that? Because I want to travel the world. Whatever money you saved up in retirement, whatever you made, how long do you plan on living? And how much of that money are you going to spend traveling the world? So you might spend traveling. Well, say you spend a month traveling the world. What about the other 11 months? Just sitting around trying to create another discipline? No, man. So I'm just giving you some tidbits here, giving some encouragement that whatever you want to do, whatever you wanted to do and you didn't do back when you were younger or before or even more recently and failed at, I'm just suggesting there are ways. Okay, don't give up. Don't acquiesce. Don't, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to be overweight. No, man. Recently when my daughter went off to college about a month ago, man, it was kind of sad. and I got to admit, my workout kind of faltered a little bit, man. And I gained like 3 pounds. And because I just wasn't feeling it, man. I didn't even realize I was depressed. But I just didn't feel like doing anything. I guess that's what depression is. But I finally got it back together. Like yesterday, man, I was like feeling good. And I weighed myself this morning. I had lost those pounds that I had gained, and made all the difference. I wasn't even realizing that I had lost those pounds that I had gained. But I was just feeling good. This morning I weighed myself, and that's why I knocked those 3.5 pounds off. I'm telling you, man. Positive stuff. You know what you have to do? Don't give up on it. Don't acquiesce, man. I was looking at this lady made this, I think it was Tyra Banks. She made a post. I don't know if she made it or her people made it, but on Facebook that 50 is the new 30, right? No, it's not. Because if 50 is the new 30, then that means 30 must be the new 10, right? Right. So, no, that's not it. What we do is, whatever age you are, it's up to you. Just what you have fashioned yourself to be based on the decisions that you have made for your life and how you walk them out. Whatever your health, whatever you look like, it's for your age, for you right now. And I'm just saying, don't give up. I'm tired of looking at my classmates and they're looking like old people. I'm like, come on now, it doesn't have to be that way. And part of that, it's like a self-perpetuating thing. It's like, gosh, man, it's when you see yourself in the mirror as an old person, then you begin to get old. Look, this morning, I got up at 3 this morning, shaved and cut my hair. Because my beard's going to be white, my hair's going to be white. So I have created the environment of who I'm looking at in that mirror every day, and that's influencing who I am and what I do. Man, if I was a real 65-year-old man, for real, societal 65-year-old man, I probably wouldn't be doing them 80 push-ups in the morning. But when I'm this guy looking in the mirror, yeah, man, you're full of energy. Go on down there and handle your business, okay? But anyway, I'm just hoping I can revive that spark in you. Because I guarantee you, You get a hold of it, you begin creating disciplines in your life, creating more and more disciplines. I mean, it begins to become like food. You enjoy it, you know. Now I'm going to learn to speak Spanish. Now I'm going to learn to speak Arabic. I went and saw Denzel Washington's latest movie a couple of weeks ago, and I told my wife, I whispered to her, I think Italian's going to be the next language I'm going to be working on. And she just laughed at me. She just laughed at me. I don't care. You got to do what you got to do. And you want to bring as many people along. But I'll tell you this, as it's working, people are watching, especially your kids. But people are watching. And folks are searching for what you're demonstrating. You owe it to them almost. You will be their influencer, not because you're seeking to become an influencer. I know some folks are, but no. But that is going to be the natural response of people because they are looking, and when they see something in you like hope, like positivity, like my hair, for example. Now, I was in the military back in the 70s, okay? I didn't wear my hair like this in the 70s. I had an afro when I was in the military, and we were just patting it down when we went to work and all, okay? The 70s, it was the best of times, right? But, so why do I wear my hair like this? I mean, I've been cutting my hair probably for like 20 years. Well, because the guy at work told me how much money I'd be saving. I'm like, yeah, right. One week I tried it. Ever since I've been cutting my own hair, but it was just a regular haircut. But about 3 years ago, I was watching one of those TV news stations, and they brought on this general. He was an old guy, white hair. This general, one of my favorite Air Force generals. His name is McCafferty, okay? And they were just asking whatever was going on in the world. I don't even remember what it was. But I guess for that broadcast, he had gotten his hair cut tight on the sides and kind of short on the top. And I'm like, Dad, that guy's looking young. Because I knew who he was. And it really worked with his head, with his face. I liked, and shoot, I tried it. I loved it. And that's what, it's got nothing to do with the military. It's got to do with, I had to find a way to get, you know, something that looks modern, and getting the white off here and the white off here, and you don't see much of it on the top, so that's what I do. Now the funny thing is, so I'm a veteran, but I'm a veteran about 47 years ago yesterday, as a matter of fact. September 20th, 2023 was my 47th anniversary from when I joined the military. Gosh, man, that's a long time ago. So, but I work with a bunch of ex-GIs, veterans, okay? And from all the branches, from Marines, Army, Navy, and some of us from the Air Force as well. And when I first started wearing that haircut, some of them were like making fun of me. Because they weren't, you know, we're civilians now, we're just wearing regular hair. You know, but I wasn't wearing it for any, look, I'm a vet. Come on, man, it's been almost 50 years. I did that just so it looked better. And this one guy especially, he was like really ragging on me, but I don't care. And guess what? About 3 months later, he comes in with the same haircut. And now half the other guys do as well. I think it looks cool. It looks sharp. It's good. It doesn't matter what people think about you. You do you. And if it's something positive, do it. If it's not hurting anybody, do it. If it encourages you, do it. If it helps you become disciplined and helps you create what was disciplined into a discipline, who cares what anybody thinks? Man, life is too short to be worrying about what other folks are doing. Do what you need to do. And as it's beginning to work, other folks will be looking. And you're really encouraging them to be themselves as well. How's that?